Ladies and gentlemen, Gungans, droids, all you Kiadi Mundi coneheads, with those extended foreheads, lifespans, and I didn't forget about you creepy looking plagueis people lurking in the shadows for reasons we may never know, but you know I'm calling you people out. The Great Mothers in a whole other galaxy. You're being called out by the King of Triple E, Gods Get the Mobile Gaming, the Director of Video Gaming Division, because you know what? There's been a line, and the line has been crossed in terms of pay to win trash. But you know what? Even during my rant today, I'm gonna offer solutions as well to take on this great mother garbanzo bean situation that we're in. Step into my office. We got a lot to talk about. First things first, I am the realist. Had to just say that, I'm sorry. But number two, I wanna just have a little bit of a rant. Let me just first say, I'm not oblivious. I might be crazy, but I'm not oblivious. If you're playing Star Wars Galaxies, you implicitly should know. It's almost like a contract coming in. It's a social contract coming into this game. You know you're playing a mobile game that's got some pay to win mechanics. But there are ways that CG address it where, yes, it might be pay to win initially, but gradually it becomes pretty accessible free to play. Again, look at Supreme Kylo Ren when he first came out alongside his counterpart Rey. Oh my gosh, it's so pay to win. And which is true, it was pretty pay to win day one. But now we say Supreme Kylo Ren, oh, he's so easy to get. He's a powerhouse, he's great, all that stuff. We don't say he's pay to win anymore. But this right here is what I'm gonna say is probably the ultimate pay to win trash. Not even the Great Mothers themselves. This right here. These exclusive Datacrons are getting out of hand. But our video game division has, again, I have solutions to present to you guys. It's not just me ranting and moaning, even though it's fun. I want to give us useful solutions, even Datacron specific solutions here. But anyways, there's been a trend lately that we've started to see, and I get it. I said it myself, there's no reason to wail out on these marquee characters day one. I'm sure CG sees the metrics on their side. They've reevaluated the marquee then. They've also made it cheaper to get 7-star characters. You pay to get the 6 stars, you get the 7-star for free, bunch of other variety of materials. But now they've been messing with these exclusive data cards that you only can get within that first week of the marquee when it's released. We saw it at Padawan Obi-Wan, and at that time I was like, oh, I'm not too sure how I feel about it. It was a great Datacron, don't get me wrong, but this is a whole other level where if you didn't whale out in the first week, this is almost like roll over and get screwed, as we're gonna see with some data here in a moment. I am not a fan of this. I think we've really moved beyond, oh gosh. Okay, bring it back just a little bit. I don't like this whole idea. Again, Great Mothers, they're great as is, says the name, the Great Mothers. This just takes to the next level where it's almost unbearable. I've gotten so many reports, people that just had an abysmal time in territories, abysmal time in Grand Arena, because of this. This is literally a paywall walling your enjoyability of this game. I mean, besides, I don't want to go over everything the Great Mothers and this gets longer than the US Constitution here. But basically, you're gonna get so much, the durability of this team is insane. And they're gonna get 40% health, protection, anytime someone attacks on a turn. Well, then with the level 9, it gets even more bonkers. This is the part that's exclusive here, where they're gonna get 200% defense, 100% health, and protection, immune to daze and fear. So traditional things that we saw pre-Datacron just aren't gonna work here. Like we saw Malgus did great pre-Datacrons, not really doing too great right now. And then anytime an enemy attacks on a turn, they're getting another 30% health and protection. So in total, they're getting 70% health and protection. So as we're gonna see, one of the possible solutions is having a healing immunity baked in. But we're gonna see there are some problems with that. And you can read the rest of this. Oh, actually, one other thing. The other thing that makes this even so more pay to win, offense isn't even a part of the current Datacron set, but it is a part of it if you wailed out on the Great Mothers, and they didn't skimp out on it. Look at this one, for example, 95%. Let me take a quick look at my Datacron. Then I promise, we're gonna get into how to address it. But again, this is still a problem with how this works. And if you go check out my Great Mothers, the one I got, what did I get here? Look at it, I got 78 offense, plus another 40. I have over 100% offense. But if you look at some of the other Datacrons, offense is just not on the menu. Look at this. This, again, is another example of pay to win trash, giving someone accessibility to things that no one else can get in the game. That is absolute, oh crap. So my urge is CG. Will they dial this back? Definitely not now. Hey, the good news is it's gonna be gone by Christmas time. Wow. I think that's one of the biggest problems. Unlike Supreme Kylo Ren and many other things, at least you can achieve, you can strive to try to work towards something that's really powerful. With this exclusive Datacron, you can't. You don't have that opportunity. You guys will get the great mothers one day. I promise you. Whenever they become free to play Farmville, you will get them. And they're going to be great. But you're not going to have access to this power that people who spent in the first week will have. And again, they're trying to sweeten the deal. They're pulling out that Grief Cargo Uno Reverse card to get people to wail on this. But anyways, I digress. Trash, yes. But you're watching the King of Trippy. We have the greatest video game division right here. And I got 3 solutions for you guys. And I want to start off with probably the best overall solution. I was doing the Journey's End event or whatever, and I was doing the Supremator Kyle RANT tier, where you're just pumping lots of Terminator to try to 3-star the Raid event. Not like it matters, because, well, it's not even simple. I'm like, wait, why don't I do something here? Because I've also done something like this inside of territory battles using Kyle RANT Unmasked Lead. And then I'm going to show you a bunch of other stuff that I tried out in 3v3 Grand Arena. I had the opportunity of doing a sandbox testing up against the Great Mothers. Didn't find too much. And then we'll also show some other 5v5 territory war stuff that I did. And let me just show you the data real quick before we get going. Yeah, I made a call the other day. I'm like, I bet when we see this data for Great Mothers on defense, I'm predicting a sub 20% win rate. Gosh, sometimes it's tough being this perfect. 18% win rate versus the Great Mothers. Funny enough, if I took out Galactic Legends, the story is basically roll over, get screwed. Literally roll over, get screwed. I'll show you some gameplay. I think there might be 2-shot potential with Treya. I managed to do that in my testing, as we're going to see. You know, I also got kind of a 2-shot with Queen Amidala, but there are some problems we're going to talk about here. But yeah, basically pre 5v5 Grand Arena in 3v3, Master Kidaway seems to be the best way. You dispel the taunt off Morgan Elsbeth, get the insta kill over on the Great Mothers. The problem is it really relies on the Plo Koon Datacron. Look at the big difference in win rate between a standard Kenobi and a Kenobi with the Plo here. So Primitive Cow Runners, we're going to show has some possible solutions up against the Great Mothers as well. You know, but other than that, you're not seeing a ton. Basically, I'm going to summarize some Primitive Cow Ren, Master Kenobi, and Moff Gideon Datacron Cheese seems to be the way to kind of handle us. Other than that, you don't have a ton of opportunities at your disposal. So let me first go show you this first one right here. A little weird, but again, I do this quite a lot inside of territory battles, especially on the more difficult planets like that stupid medical bay planet like that requires Relic 8 characters, Relic 9, whatever the heck it is, down the road. This works great because Kylo Ren's gonna get so much turn meter, which is normally a bad thing. But if he's taking all the turns and the girls aren't, that's a good thing. So I want to kind of roll this one specifically for you. I'm just running a generic attacker Datacron just to get more. You know, actually, unequip this. Unequip this. Let me show you without the Datacron. And I'm just putting a bunch of characters that can just load turn meter. Now, there's a few things to know to try to take out the Great Mothers. Number one, as we've discussed a few times, Great Mothers can ignore taunt if there is a light side leader. Here, there is none. So they can't ignore taunt. So they have to put Doom on Kyle Ren. So being able to control where Doom goes is pretty important, because otherwise, I don't know if there's a rhyme or reason who they target, because I do same battles multiple times. They go for different people, so I'm not quite sure. Our video game division is going to keep investigating, but here you can control the opening outcome. And now we start rolling. I'm going to get the stun over on Morgan Elsbeth, and then here we're going to start rolling lots and lots of Terminator off of all the critical hits. Drop me a stun over here, and again, we're going to start moving. Let me see if I can get a buff immunity over here. Nice. Getting the buff immunity. Letting him take some damage, that's fine. Keep pumping the turn meter over here. Again, this would be a lot easier if I had an attacker Datacron, but we're gonna take it kind of the harder way right now. Pass it back over. This is a perimeter Kyle Ren, and let's get to work. Let's go ahead, just keep siphoning away. We're gonna target Great Mothers this time. Again, we should get another turn here momentarily. People are gonna die. That's just how it's gonna go. But again, if you're doing this out Datacron, it's gonna be a lot more complicated. Get the poke, get me a basic, trying to get some more turn meter. People are gonna die, but that's fine. Kylo can survive as long as possible. Here we go. And we're gonna be at full ultimate charge. Let's go send it an assist over into Great Mothers. Eventually, Kylo's gonna get so much damage. Oh, shoot. All right, you know what? I'm putting the Datacron back up. All right, I probably it worked once without Datacron. Apparently not. All right, so we're gonna throw the attacker Datacron. Got this team. You know what? Sometimes you gotta fight fire with fire. All right, let's try this again. This time I promise it'll work, because now the attacker Datacron, I can get a lot more hits in there now. Things are a lot easier. So now we can play ball. Because look, because of all the critical hits, we kind of almost have a close to perfect loop here. I'm gonna try ping those Great Mothers. Assist again. Look at all those critical hits. We're working. Maybe, you know, now that I'm looking at this feels a lot easier. Feels a lot easier with the Datacron, because when you're following up with those subsequent critical hits, you're feeding our turn meter engine. All right, there we go. Keep the engine moving. Let him assist. Look at this. We're just rolling. We're rolling, and eventually we're gonna get so much damage. We're gonna overcompensate for the amount of health and protection regeneration that they're getting. Again, let them get in there. Keep that Terminator moving along. That's fine. We're gonna go into another ultimate. There we go. So that is basically the best solution. Maybe it was a good thing I showed it with the Datacron. The attacker Datacron made this a lot easier. I think we can agree on that. So that was basically the one way of doing it. Is the cleanest? No, but it's a solution, and it's the perimeter counter, which a lot of you guys have. Let me roll some other gameplay to give you some other possible suggestions out there, my friends. Gary, roll the gameplay. So we're gonna show a gameplay from a few different avenues. Here's me inside of Territory Wars, playing around with the Moff Gideon Datacron cheese. If you don't know what this cheese is I'm talking about, there's a card in the top right-hand corner for your viewing pleasure to describe what's going on. Moff Gideon could possibly solo Gungans, for example, and a variety of other great things, especially with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. Now, there's a lot of interesting stuff trying to go around making the Moff Gideon cheese work in other capacities, but we're gonna talk about a situation that's gonna make this a little bit more complicated at the end with Marin potentially. But here inside of Territory Wars, as you can see, I eventually got the combo going. Gideon's taking back-to-back-to-back turns because he gets 4 stacks of insight. The Datacron, long story short, allows him to take subsequent turns, but you need healing immunity. Healing immunity is so important to stop the health and protection regeneration on the Great Mother teams. And luckily, Dark Trooper Gideon, inside of Territory Wars, his Omicron allows him to get a locked-in healing immunity, which makes this such an easy battle. So if you're struggling in Territory Wars, this might be a solution, but as we're gonna show, Grand Arena, he doesn't have healing immunity. So that's when things get a little bit more complicated. Another thing that I had some limited success inside of Territory Wars, as well as my 3v3 Grand Arena testing that we did yesterday in our video gaming division, Queen Amidala seemed to do all right with the support Datacron that ramps up the attacker's critical damage. We see that, well, Padawan Oberyn, kind of like the Supreme KRU battle, can overcompensate over the health and protection regeneration that the Great Mothers get and get some big hits. However, oh, and bonus, this boy right here, good job, Echo. Healing immunity, very important as well. So with that tied with the Datacron and Padawan Oberyn, good stuff. But as I said, I'm not sure if there's a rhyme or reason. Maybe they're like sit the turn where they target the healthiest or the least healthy. I'm not sure, because sometimes they'll do the same battle and they'll target different people with Doomed. And if they target Queen Amidala Doomed, which could very well happen in the opening play, you're screwed. Luckily, Master Qui-Gon, he could survive if he does get targeted with the Doom. It's kind of like a mark. But if they go for Queen Amidala, it falls apart very, very quickly. So keep that in mind. We're going to show some 3v3 situations. In 3v3, I was able to get a 2-shot. 3v3 seems to be a lot more miserable than 5v5. I think 5v5 in Territories and 5v5 Grand Arena, I think you're going to have a lot of other options. Speaking of this one, we have Master Kenobi, no Plo Koon, Datacron, nothing like that. As you can see here, you dispel the taunt off Morgan Elsbeth, insta-kill Great Mothers. I wouldn't say wash your hands entirely clean, because as you can see, we lost a few girls right away. They still have incredible amounts of damage because of the insane amount of offense and all that other jazz. Again, we don't want to bring that up again. That might be another solution. However, keep in mind, in Territories, Great Mothers have instant defeat immunity with their Omicron. Could be a little bit more complicated. I don't know if I can promise this here. If they can target Jin from the Great Mothers, they target Jin to Doom, you have a good chance of winning, because Jin can't die that easily. So it prolongs the cheese between Radis and Jin. But as I'm going to show, again, I don't want to overpromise. As we saw the Supreme KRU, good thing I lost. So you guys can see that it's a lot harder without the Datacron. The problem that we're having here is that the same exact battle, same exact team, same exact formation. Next battle, the Great Mothers went for someone completely different. They went for Cassian first instead of Jin, and my team just fell apart and I lost. So I don't know if I can overpromise this. This seemed to have some success, but this is 5v5. 3v3, it looks like, you know, Leia's having a bit of a struggle, as well as many other Galactic Legends versus them. But as you can see, same battle, nothing changed, no mods changed, same enemy team, same team here. And instead of them going for Jin, they went for Cassian. Poor guy. He was just waiting for his sequel to come around. And it was a completely different battle at that point. So that was the problem. Then they ended up picking everyone else off. So here's the thing. I showed Moff Gideon with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, trying to make this work in other capacities. I was suggested by Scribe to try this out with Darth Vader, Lord Vader, Moff Gideon. Try to get a shock from RJ. Didn't quite work for me. And as we're gonna say in a few moments here, if you are looking for counters, I'm gonna show you one key thing to look out for, because the counters you might be suggested might not work if the lineup on the Great Mothers is a little bit different. And spoiler, it's not the home field advantage we have here at Dathomir, as you see in the background. It's because of Marin. Marin's got some good use of being a constant cleanser. She can't revive, as I'll show you guys, but she can be quite annoying with constant heals, or constant cleanses, to be more specific, to get rid of healing immunity, to get rid of other mechanics like shock, which makes it a lot more complicated. But again, as you see, trying to get the combo going, it's not working. So in 3v3 Grand Arena, I had the opportunity to do a lot of testing up against my opponent. And again, this worked in Territory Wars. But the reason why it worked in Territory Wars was because Darth Moff Gideon's healing immunity allowed me to just let Moff Gideon do his thing. But as you see here, we got the combo. The cheese is in full swing, but minus 99,999 damage just isn't enough to overcompensate for the amount of protection, health regen that's going on. So basically, you just sit there and, well, you aren't going anywhere with it. You're just not going anywhere. So Gary, just skip ahead. Yeah, nothing's happening here. All right, next up here, I want to talk about Darth Trada. There weren't a lot of non-GL stuff that's come to fruition this past week. Again, once this Datacron goes away, I feel confident, you know, maybe Malgus could work, Reva could work, Traya should work. Problem is, this Datacron's a whole different ball game here. But in this situation, I was able to get an insta-kill. Okay, you know, maybe that's cleanable. Maybe that's cleanable. Still hard to say because Spirit hits hard. People are going to say, oh, what about Bane? I use Bane with Sith Eternal. I use Bane with Lord Vader. I use Bane by himself. Unfortunately, the bill will come due. We're the Great Mothers. Doom, Dr. Bane, not Dr. Bane. Not that, that's Dr. Doom. No, not Dr. Bane. Bane himself. And the problem is, what do Great Mothers do? They just completely like remove your max health. And Bane without max health, what is Bane? What is Bane at that point? So unfortunately, Bane is not going to be the catch-all solution for this, at least right now with the Datacron. Also ran the Queen Amidala in her natural environment integrator. We have our Omicrons turned on, right? Kind of almost similar to the Territory Wars. Luckily, they doomed the Qui-Gon, and Qui-Gon can survive. But again, I want to make it clear, if they went for Padme, this would be a lot more difficult because she'll just fall apart very quickly, or even Padme and Obi-Wan. So again, I'm not sure there's a rhyme or reason who they target. My suspicion is they target the healthiest person, but I don't understand why some battles, if you do it back-to-back, they change target. It could be random, and sometimes a random outcome is a bad thing. We like to know who the AI is going to target. If it's at complete random, oh man, that would suck. So maybe more time will unveil that to us. But this could be another opportunity for a potential two-shot. Take out Nice as the Spirit. All right, the damage is gone, and then you can figure out the rest of this situation here. Yeah. And beyond that, man, you're kind of, you're gonna be kind of tight for options here. And again, I want to bring this up one more time before we wrap up this video. The core of the Knights is the Great Mothers right now seems to be Great Mothers, Elsbeth, Spirit, insane amount of damage. Acolyte, Death Pretty's doing pretty well because the Datacron just gives them absurd amounts of AoE damage. But you might see Marin pop up. Now you might be like, wait, I thought Marin can't revive. She can't revive a Great Mother's teams. No. But she can still provide a benefit. With Shadow Stride, the next time another ally is afflicted with a debuff or defeated, Marin loses magic stealth. Dispels all debuffs on all allies. So she can't revive. Plague is kind of a non-thing here. Yes, she applies Plague, but doesn't really work as well as the Talisman team. But this is a better version of Talia. Talia's got a cleanse, but this cleanse is almost like all the time. And if you're trying to set up a situation with like the Moff Gideon thing, if you apply shock or somehow get healing immunity, anything of that matter, if they cleanse all that stuff off, you're kind of screwed. So that's why I want to make sure I'm kind of pointing out all the nooks and crannies of this insane thing that's going on. So again, I want to provide this criticism, but at the same time, provide you options for handling this nightmare of a Great Mother's team. And let me just tell you this, even again, I actually just looked, this team's only Relic 6. They didn't even have all the 6-stat mods on. And this team is absolutely kicking some massive butt. Again, Great Mothers are great. You guys will get them eventually. But man, this exclusive Datacron thing, you know, at first I was kind of hesitant. I was like, oh man, I don't know. Now we're kind of crossing that line. That's just IMO, yo. I don't know. Does that mean anything to Capital Games? Probably not. But hopefully, at the very minimum, This video is going to be helpful for you guys. 3v3 Grand Arena, besides Master Kenobi, it's going to be kind of tough. Maybe the Supreme to KRU thing can work for you guys. Hopefully we got some options to make this manageable. Kenobi, Supreme to KRU, Gideon Chiefs, maybe a Trey 2-shot are kind of the options that our video game division has for you guys right now. But if you guys can, if you enjoyed the video, leave that like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And don't you worry, it still is great to be in the Empire today.